Hey folks, may the fourth be with you. We are talking about Moon Knight, episode 6, Gods and Monsters, the season finale or series finale, who knows, of the show. We are going to do our spoiler-free reviews of the episode, and then we are going to get into a full spoiler breakdown of the episode starting now. Welcome to the Nerd Social. I am Nathan.
And I'm Colin.
Hey guys, so the spoiler-free logline from Disney on this episode is, as Moon Knight joins the fray, Marc, Steven, and Khonshu must work together to stop Ammit. So, this is directed by Mohamed Diab and written by Jeremy Slater and Peter Cameron and Saba Mubarak. So Colin, what did you think of this episode?
Yeah, this episode was really action-packed. I think they were definitely trying to wrap everything up. You can definitely sense that happening as we moved along and the wheels started to go really, really fast. And they kind of realized that, oh yeah, this is actually the final episode. So we had to put some action in there. Not to say that, in previous weeks we didn't see action at all. We saw some action, but definitely you felt that there was a kind of a conclusion that was going to come on. And yeah, I think it was a pretty cool episode overall. There's some good visual effects. There's some really good reveals as well. And then, of course, there's also, with any type of Marvel stuff, there's going to be some type of post-credit scene, which was pretty cool as well. I overall liked it very much. I think overall, in terms of the season, there were some kind of uneven parts to what Marvel is doing with it, but I definitely understand it overall. I think that my kind of like the middle parts of the season was kind of weird to me at times, maybe because I was preoccupied with other things, or maybe I just didn't have as much interest. But I think that towards the end, it definitely, again, picked up toward the end of it with episode 5 and now with episode 6. So yeah, who knows what's going to happen with this character, because they really kind of made it very self-contained within this story. So yeah, I'll be very interested to see what will happen to him. But I definitely do recommend you watch this final episode.
Yeah, I like the episode as well. I have to say it's probably not as good as the last episode, mostly because the last episode is probably one of the best things that Marvel has done in a very long time, if not ever, because of the emotional impact of what they were doing in the episode. But it does point to somewhat of an issue that Marvel has had with these shows. The finale has to be like like a superhero mashup, so it doesn't necessarily have the resonance of some of the earlier episodes. They kind of was the same thing with WandaVision. I think the penultimate episode was ultimately better than the finale for some of the same reasons. The CGI here was okay, but it also seemed a little rushed in places. The same thing with WandaVision, and I think the episode ended a little bit too early to have some of the emotional beats that it could have. I think they resolved most of the plot that was going on this season, but there were some emotional things that they could have also resolved that they didn't resolve, and I'll get into that when we talk about when we have the spoiler discussion later on. But all in all, I enjoyed the action. I enjoyed the way they did all the action here. I guess it was a little bit different than the way that they have to end all their movies or their television shows. The action set pieces here. I think that I was reading or watching something a couple weeks ago, or maybe even it was just a week ago, saying that Marvel does a lot of the pre-visualization for the action scenes way before a lot of the script is locked. So they probably had this done before they finished a lot of this season, which it's not disjointed, but like I said, there could have been a couple more scenes to wrap up some of the emotional things. some of the emotional things that they set up earlier on in the season, and maybe they didn't have the time to do that because they did the previs on all the action stuff way before they finished the script. But all in all, I think it was a really good episode. This is probably one of the best Marvel shows for me. I still have to, because this finale wasn't like 100%. I have to think about if it's like the best Marvel show, but it's definitely it's definitely top tier for me. I think Hawkeye had a stronger finale than this show, but I do appreciate what they did, and we can get into the specifics of the episode and where it might have felt short in like one place or another, but it was a good episode, and this has been a good season. I really appreciate what they're trying to do things that are a little bit different, because people have been talking about superhero fatigue for the last decade now. So I appreciate that they're trying new things. So yeah. All right. Any other thoughts before we move on?
Yeah, I think that in terms of Disney Plus shows, I would say that this is probably somewhere in the middle for me. I think that it's a little bit different. It's probably I think I'm more into the grounded stuff, kind of like Falcon and Winter Soldier, Hawkeye.
Yeah.
It's a little bit more grounded. I think I like the groundedness of it. That's just kind of like my take. But although I did like Loki a lot, so Loki's kind of like in this kind of realm with WandaVision and Moon Knight. So again, it's just kind of a little bit of different thing. I'm kind of like, again, more grounded storytelling and things like that. I'm not into like very much into the mystical stuff, but Loki actually was very entertaining for me, and probably is still for me number one in terms of entertainment value and in terms of the action and things. And even though it's kind of a little bit wackier for my taste, I still enjoyed the story overall. So yeah, I think that's kind of where I'm at in terms of ranking it. We might have to do like a deeper analysis of it once we pass this review and give it some time to kind of grow a little bit.
Yeah, I have to ruminate on how I feel about the entire season. My initial impressions is that I probably did enjoy parts of Loki more, but even without ruminating on it, I can't say the acting in Loki was better than the acting in this show, especially from Oscar Isaac, the star of the show. I think Oscar Isaac was exceptional in this show. So if I would put Loki above it, it might be because of some of the writing and how the season was pulled together. But like I said, I would have to ruminate on that a little bit to think about where I would rank them. So yeah, maybe we'll do a separate video about that. So the ranking the Marvel shows so far. So yeah. All right. Let's jump into, I guess, our spoiler conversation of the episode. I will say, if you are enjoying the conversation, please join the conversation by commenting down below and like and subscribe or follow. It really helps us out, and we would really appreciate it. So going ahead, spoilers ahead. Watch the episode if you haven't seen it. Spoilers. All right. So what do you want to talk about first?
I think I actually want to talk about Layla first. It was a really interesting type of thing where that happened. That happened to her, and how she kind of at first was hesitant to have an avatar. I think we all kind of understand why that is the case because of what has happened in her past. But it was really interesting to kind of having her embrace that, then being like such a having a great action scene.
Sorry, you gotta repeat what you just said because your video froze. You said having her such a, and then your video froze.
So such an amazing action scene, and then having the bystander that she rescued say, "Are you an Egyptian superhero?" That was really, really cool. I really enjoyed that a lot. I mean, yes. it's a little like
it's a little
fan service, or
it's a
even,
little on the
yeah,
nose.
it's a little
It's kind of
on the
like
nose, but
it's kind of like
yeah,
the scene at the end of Endgame where all the women come together.
yeah,
I don't mind it there. It's a little cheesy because she says yes I am instead of something like I think it's fine. I think it would have been better
hmm
if she just said I am, or she said or she laughed and just, she was like marveling at the weirdness of what was going on. It's like, I guess I am, or something like that. I don't know, but
yeah,
in general, it was a cool scene. Um,
definitely.
but
Probably my favorite
it,
scene in the movie. I
and
mean,
it,
not the movie, the whole thing,
it,
the episode itself.
and it also makes sense. Like even at the beginning of this episode, you hear she's in the temple and she takes someone out. And you've seen her doing action throughout the entire show. So they set her up very, very well for it being believable. Just because
hmm
she got powers, which makes her stronger, but she was already a good fighter, right?
Right.
She was already very capable. They gave her a set piece here. They gave her 2 episodes ago, because last episode was just Marc and Steven. 2 episodes ago
Right.
with the undead thing.
hmm
They had an extended scene with her with that and that, and she's been when they went to that guy with the pyramids. She was fighting with her necklace. She killed someone with her necklace. So they've shown that she's a very capable person. So the fact that she got superpowers through being an avatar, it makes sense that she would be
hmm
very capable. It would just extend her abilities rather. So yeah,
Yeah, I mean, she was a little bit like Falcon, but in any case, I didn't really care. I didn't really care about that. There was a lot of like Falcon
I
like
mean the
scenes, and sometimes Marvel they kind of meshed us in a little bit, but I didn't really care. I just thought that she was awesome, and I really really enjoyed it a lot.
it was an interesting choice for her suit to give her fight abilities. And I mean it's very Egyptian. It looked like a very Egyptian suit, but it also, like you said, it looks like Falcon. Let me see if I can find a screenshot of the suit. Yeah, it looks very Egyptian, but it also I don't know. Is the Falcon's wings underneath? Falcon, and also here it is, and
Mm.
and I guess Captain America, he still has the wings. I guess
Right.
they're kind of from above. I think the Captain America wings are from above, and it's like
hmm
and they're not connected to his arms. So
Right.
it's a little bit different, because so this is what her. She also has blades here as well
hmm
that extend out. So it looks a little different. The wings are a bit smaller, um, and she has a scarab on her chest. So yeah, I mean
Yeah.
it looks similar, but I guess anyone who has bird wings is gonna make you think about Falcon. But I think it was a cool outfit. It was a cool
But also,
costume.
just to remind people, the audience also looked like Wonder Woman, as well in Wonder Woman
Yeah,
1984.
yeah.
A
So
little bit of
it
it,
looks
a
like
little bit of
Wonder
that
Woman a
too.
little bit, but also it looks like I think the DC hero Isis, also,
hmm
which is like an
Yep.
Egyptian hero. So yeah,
hmm
Ammit's. What did you think of Ammit's CGI? I didn't. I mean, I had some of it looked good inside of the temple. It didn't look as good to me. I think
hmm
Tarawet's CGI looked a bit better than Ammit's
Yeah.
CGI. Let me go back to the temple when he frees. Um, Even here, you can see Tarawet in the sun, and she just looks better
Yeah.
to me
Yeah.
than Ammit does in the temple. But I mean, it's fine. But it
hmm
seems this is what I was talking about when I said maybe they didn't have enough time to tighten up some of this stuff.
Right. And also they did a trick in that it's dark. It's
Yeah, yeah,
darker
yeah,
than the
yeah.
Talwit scenes.
Like when she goes
Yeah.
outside, it looks even better because it's even darker.
Right.
But there's some light in here because of the candles, and it doesn't. It looks a little cartoonish ish a little bit. But and you really can't
Kind of reminds me of the Mortal Kombat. Remember Mortal Kombat? The what was that? There was one scene with
reptile with
yeah. Kind of reminded me of that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not. I don't know what it is. Maybe I spent so much time analyzing it. It just didn't look. It looked like early 2000s CGI here in places, which is unfortunate.
But
Like I
also,
said, the hippo,
yeah.
the Tawaret's animation looks so good, and they have these like little flourishes in the animation, like with her ears moving and stuff like that, and her whiskers moving like an actual hippo would. So yeah.
Yeah. But also the thing is that I think when I was looking through the credits, I won't mention about the there's other reasons as to why I was looking at the credits as well. But as I was looking through the credits, there were like at least 3 or 4 studios, visual effects studios, that was doing the effects for Moon Knight, and that's like kind of typical. And also like, so it's not like just for audiences to know, there's not just like one visual effects department that does this. It's like this is outsourced to like multiple ones because they have so many projects right now. And so they were talking in the news about how even with Spider-Man No Way Home, as also with Doctor Strange, they've had some reshoots done, or even some things redone because they've been kind of pushing the deadline in terms of visual effects. So you can see that there's going to be some type of inconsistencies or some type of thing that may or may not be as visually pleasing, depending on the effectiveness of a visual effects department and the experience.
There's typically how they work with visual effects is that there's a visual effects coordinator, and then the coordinator works with the team that works at Disney, but it also works with a bunch of other outsource companies as well. So yeah, you're right. I don't know who was responsible for. I imagine that there were probably more than one group responsible for Ammit rather. But yeah, it wasn't perfect. It wasn't terrible, but it wasn't perfect. She looked. I guess she kind of looks like a crocodile here, but like I said, more of a cartoonishy kind of thing to me. I don't know. It's not a big deal. But
yeah, it's not a big deal. It's something. To me, yeah, it looks kind of real, But yeah, there is some kind of a cartoonish elements to it, like you said. But yeah. It's a little bit of a nitpick.
I did appreciate later on. So this is Steven. Sorry, this is Marc saving Steven. Did you understand what was going on here? So they're in front of the door of Osiris, and that's how they get back. They get transported back to life, and I guess there's a bit of a confirmation here because Taweret brings her ship. And she says, "You owed Solve the Osiris." So I think Osiris is the one who actually brings them back to life.
So he probably saw that, and he's like, "Oh, he really is learning his lesson. Yes, he is balanced, but also in some ways he's kind of sacrificing that nirvana that he was in, with the fields and stuff like that." So he was like, "Oh, this is really touching, and maybe I should open the doors up for you so you can come back to life."
This animation also was a little weird. It just looked like his head was floating on top there. Like, it looks fine at the end. It looks fine at the end, but it's similar to like if you know of Infinity War when Mark Ruffalo was inside of the Hulkbuster, and it just seemed like his head was like floating on top of the Hulkbuster. Yeah. It's very.
That was so strange. I was so freaked out by that.
It's very similar here, where his head doesn't look like it's part of this body. It looks good at the end.
Oh yeah.
Once the kind of transformation is done, but like in the middle of it, it looks this is a very weird shot right here. But yeah. We also get like in the so Steven and Marc seem to be working well together. They're switching back and forth. They're not fighting for the body anymore, which is I guess the point of the last episode. They're two parts of the same soul or parts of the same soul. So Steven negotiates a new deal for them, which Khonshu agrees to, but he also has something in his back pocket that we find out at the end of the end of the episode. I don't think I have a screenshot of this, but like, they also have like an Easter egg in here of when Marc starts flying as Moon Knight, it looks like a crescent, and it basically looks like
Yes.
it looks like the ship, the Moon Knight airplane that he has in the comic from above.
Really?
Yeah, yeah. It looks that's the exact same shape. So I saw that in the.
Wow.
I saw that in I think the trailer for this episode, and I thought, oh, they're going to give him a ship, but no, it's just his cape, furled out that looks exactly like that. So yeah, I guess that there was just a nod to the comics there.
It did move like a ship when he was moving. It was like
Yeah.
like a ship.
I think
really interesting.
I think the impression that you're supposed to get is that he was being lifted up by the air, like Khonshu was like creating like a draft for his his cape and pushing and propelling him forward. So yeah, this is Osiris's avatar who dies here, but I guess he dies here realizing that he was wrong. Osiris realizes that he's wrong, so that's why he lets Marc out in the first place. Yeah.
I was also going back to that scene there with Layla. I mean, that switcheroo was really
yeah.
Cool.
She got
that was really well acted. I would say. And that's like really brilliant.
Yeah.
Stuff.
I think they've given Oscar like the most to do, and then they gave Ethan Hawke a bit to do when he was in the asylum. So this is the first time that they actually gave her the ability to kind of like switch around and actually act and her physicality here was really cool. She was just like and bouncing off the walls a little bit. She did a great job. I'm looking forward to not just seeing Moon Knight again, but also seeing her again. So I think Marvel has confirmed that she's supposed to be like the Scarlet Scarab, which is a villain in the comics, but apparently she's obviously a hero in this show. So they just use that persona. They mentioned her being a scarab or the scarab like several times throughout the show. Even when she showed up in the asylum, she had like a little scarab scarab on her bandage. It was red. Her father used to call her little scarab, and when she got the suit, when she gets the suit later on, I'm not sure if you can see it in this picture. Like on her chest, there is a scarab underneath of her, underneath of her, and it's a red scarab. So yeah, it's
cool.
And I guess the wings themselves are not they're not silver. They're kind of like a bronze reddish color as well. So yeah, so the even though I didn't necessarily like the animation on Ammit in the temple, I did appreciate the giant like kaiju fight at the end. That's definitely something that Marvel hasn't done before. And I was talking to my wife about this. She thought like she was confused that people could see them, but I don't think people could actually see what was going on. I think the audience can see them, see that they're fighting. I think the people were
the avatars.
No, not the avatars. The actual gods fighting like
the actual gods. Got it. 50
feet in the air. My impression was that we could see them because we're the audience, because we could always see Khonshu because we're the audience. But to everyone else, it would just be like things moving around because Khonshu. We've seen earlier in the season that Khonshu can move things around, and to people who can't see him, it's just like things moving around. So like when they were fighting and like buses were being thrown over and stuff like that, I think that was just like people seeing like weird things happening, but not necessarily seeing the gods fighting in the air. I think they can definitely see the fight that Steven, Marc, Harrow, and Layla are in, because that's actually in the middle of the street. But yeah. Yeah, this action scene was actually pretty cool. So them moving back and forth. So Steven actually in the Mr. Knight suit, he throwing one of the batons, and Harrow like reflecting hitting it out the way, and then Marc catching it. So they're definitely working as a team. It was a very well choreographed and also executed in previs scene that they put together here. So,
do you mind if he looks kind of like Deadpool in some ways? I mean, some people online they like say, "Oh, he looks too much like Deadpool." I'm like, yeah, but is it that big of a deal though?
I mean,
Yeah.
so does Spider-Man. If you're just gonna go because he has a cap, I mean, it's a mask. No, he doesn't look like Deadpool at all. He has a completely different color. He's in a suit. Uh, oh, he does. I mean, that's what masks look like. I don't. Yeah, it's just a mask. He also has a Egyptian symbol on his forehead. Let's see if I can find one. He's moving a lot in these scenes. You can't really see him that much. But yeah, Deadpool doesn't go around in a suit. He has like a camo gear on.
Right.
So like, if you can compare him to Deadpool, I feel like comparing him to Spider-Man makes more sense because Deadpool in the comics has like giant eyes. I'm not sure if he does in the movie. I forget. But he just like Spider-Man.
He doesn't have giant eyes in the movie. He is very similar. I think that's what's throwing people off is that the eye structure is very similar.
Yeah, but like I mean,
yeah.
But so does Marc when he's at Moon Knight. He has eyes that glow as well when he's Moon Knight. Let me see. So you see here, Marc also has the glowing eyes. He just has a hood above his head.
Right.
So yeah. Yeah, this throughout this entire show that they've been hinting at Jake Lockley, and you get another blackout here in the middle of this, in the middle of here,
yeah,
and in the middle of this fight, and then he wakes up and Steven, and they go back and forth. He said, "Did you do that?" Steven said, "Nope." Yeah, and we don't get it. And we don't get anything from Layla. I feel like this is the last time we see Layla in this episode, or one of the. No, this is not the last time we see her in the tomb. But this is part. This is part of what I was talking about when I said that they didn't really wrap this up as well as I would like. I don't see. It's not clear to me if she's like all is forgiven about her father. I understand there's a lot of stuff going on here, but after the fight, I feel like they could have had another scene where they're reconciling, or they decide to go their separate ways. Taweret mentions something about her father, and she's Taweret's avatar now. I feel like she could have a longer conversation with Taweret about her father.
Right.
All those like emotional beats that they kind of left on the floor, but mostly she was very upset. I mean, I'm sure she loves him and she's very glad to see that he's alive because he was dead. Mm-hmm. But their entire relationship was a lie. Like she said, like you sought me out because you felt guilty about my father dying and you never told me. Right. That's like a lot of things to kind of leave on the side. Now, if this is not the series finale, if this is the season finale, that's fine because that's how season finales go, right? You have things that some threads that you're gonna pick up later on. But I don't think Oscar Isaac has signed on yet for another season. I guess it depends on how well this has done, and we shall see. But yeah, those are the kind of things that they could have added. It made the episode was not that long. It was like 45 minutes, and actually
no, it wasn't.
I had to I recorded it to get some of these screenshots, and that's 45 minutes, including like the previously on stuff. So it was a very short episode. They could have added another like 10, 15 minutes to wrap some of this stuff up.
Yeah, that is kind of weird to me in that it felt kind of abrupt. Like the ending kind of felt very abrupt, and I was like, "Oh, that's it? Really?" I'm not expecting like at least another 5-10 minutes, like you said, of additional kind of like content. But it was pretty short, I would say. And the second thing is that in terms of whether or not they're going to come back for another season, I read an article actually. I think it was New York Times that did a profile on Oscar Isaac, and basically, it sounded from the article that he was kind of hesitant in terms of his commitment to Moon Knight because they kind of, like you said in our previous reviews, like he probably just saw like some of the stuff from last week's episode, the penultimate, and he's like, wow, this is really cool, and I really need to be a part of this, and showed him like really, really good beats. But it seemed as though from what I gathered from the article was that he wanted to do like more acting type of things, like drama roles, less time commitment, because it felt as though he didn't want to do any more like big budget stuff like Star Wars. He was in X-Men as well. He's now in Marvel. So like those big things is like he was talking about how it was a lot of time commitment away from his family and things like that. So maybe he'll come back, maybe he won't. It really depends, I would say, on how they can evolve this character and how to make this character even more compelling. Because a lot of those kind of like character beats, I mean, what else is there in terms of a conflict
there's Jake.
Be compelled to come back.
There's Jake. There's Jake, and then they have that all the way at the end. So this is the end. He decides not to kill Harrow. He also says that you're supposed to release me. And then they have this beat at the end where I feel like he's definitely not in the afterlife. So I guess this is his own mind palace, his own thing that he's creating here, when he's confronting Harrow again. It was also a little bit weird here at the very end. So like this is how they ended the episode, except for instead of ending it with Layla in a conversation with Layla, he's back in the loft in England, and there's two goldfish now, which is an interesting little beat there because they accept each other, but they're still locked to the bed. Because I think at this point, Steven knows about Marc, and Marc, of course, knows about Steven. But now I think that they're still locking themselves to the bed because now that there's obviously someone else that they don't know about and they're confused about. So they're still, and I think they also put this in here just for comedy's sake. So that's basically the end of the episode. It does end very abruptly until we get to the after credit scene. So I think what you have to explore is basically Jake Lockley. This obviously more violent, more subservient to Khonshu persona. So yeah, they have a couple nods here to the comics as well. We have the limo that I think this is actually Stephen Grant's limo inside of the. Or maybe it is Mark Spector's. It's Mark Spector's. It
says Spector in the.
It does say Spector, but I think in the comics this is the limo that Mr. Knight rides around in. When he's doing his consulting detecting with the police. So yeah, I think it was a good episode. Like I said, for the reasons that I already mentioned, some of the CGI wonkiness, some of the emotional plot threads kind of like dropped. Why it's not like perfect, but I enjoyed it for the most part. Any other things that we missed here? Just trying to go through these screenshots.
Let's see. I don't think that we missed much. I think again it was a little less on terms of character development because we kind of got a lot of it already. Yeah. Definitely more action, more action than I expected, and again, like you said, very abrupt ending, and just it almost didn't make much sense to me as to why they kind of left it that way. But we'll see what happens and how they're going to kind of evolve the story as we move along in the MCU.
Yeah, I guess it really depends on what Oscar Isaac wants to do. I think they'll definitely have the Scarlet Scarab back at some point, because I think that was the point of having her in this show. Right. Even if Moon Knight doesn't show up, I don't know in what capacity they'll bring her back. But yeah, and I'm glad for her because that actress she did an excellent job. It was definitely like a well, I was going to say a two-hander, but I guess if it was a two-hander, it would be Marc and Steven. But the four characters, Marc, Steven, Harrow, and her, I enjoyed following all of them this season. Yeah. So
I mean, do you think that he's probably going to appear, or both of them going to appear, in that rumored like Werewolf by Night thing? in
I,
Halloween? Do
I
you think, or
I,
just going to be Werewolf by Night separate?
I don't think that they're going to get Oscar for Werewolf by Night, but they might get her. She has her profile isn't as large as his, and probably to book her won't cost them as much money as to book Oscar Isaac. So yeah, she might show up, and that'll connect Werewolf by Night to Moon Knight indirectly, because that's if you go if you don't know out in the audience, the Werewolf by Night is the comic book that Moon Knight actually showed up in first. It was the first time his first appearance was in Werewolf by Night. So that would be a nice nod to the fact that Moon Knight came out of Werewolf by Night. I don't know what it's supposed to be just like a special. It's just like one episode. What is it? This the Werewolf by Night thing?
Yeah, that is rumored that it's going to come out during Halloween. Mm-hmm. So they haven't said anything about that, and I was expecting that they would say something about that, because that was the rumor. Because Moon Knight appeared, so they're gonna have something, and also because of the first couple of episodes, you saw that there was a jackal that was chasing him. People thought it was Werewolf by Night, so it wasn't. It was just a jackal. So they are kind of keeping it close to the vest, which is kind of weird. Whether or not they're gonna come out with things, I think part of why they're doing it very delicately and slowly is because of all the shifting. A lot of it was pandemic related, but also a lot of it is like keeping it close to the vest and not leaking it too much to audiences, which are still thirsting for a lot of Marvel content, I guess, even after what has happened in Endgame and things like that. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know whether or not it's a good strategy or not, but at the same time, I can understand why they're doing it.
Yeah, we have. I'm looking at the schedule here for Marvel. We have Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness coming up on the Friday here, but the next show is going to be Miss Marvel on June 8th.
Yep.
And it's going to be on television around about the same time that the Obi-Wan show, because the Obi-Wan show is going to start at the end of this month. Speaking of May the 4th. So she's the next one up. And then Thor Love and Thunder is going to be July 8th. And then it just says Untitled Halloween Special, but like you said, it's probably going to be the Werewolf by Night thing. And then Wakanda Forever is going to be November 11th. And then there's going to be a Christmas special, a Guardians of the Galaxy Christmas special.
Yeah.
And then they also have She-Hulk on the schedule for this year, so maybe She-Hulk will be December, or end of November, or maybe she'll just be next year, because I feel like the Christmas special, maybe if it's in November or October, I feel like there's a big block here with Thor being in July, and then nothing happening until Black Panther in November. I mean, maybe it'll be in September, or maybe it'll be maybe it'll bridge October, November, the She-Hulk show.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. It's probably I would say either that gap between Thor and Wakanda Forever, or they're gonna push it to the end of the year, where Hawkeye was as well. So maybe there's a lot of flexibility there as well, and to see what other type of content that they're going to bring out. I don't know if any of the Star Wars content is going to come out after Obi-Wan, because so it really depends on, because I know that they're going to probably switch. They're going to probably have one day that's devoted to Star Wars. I think that's what they did last year with Bad Batch and Loki. They had Bad Batch on Friday, and then they had Loki on Wednesdays. I don't know. I feel like they're gonna have, the Miss Marvel is gonna be June 8th, and Obi-Wan is gonna be May 27th. I think they're pushing it, right? They pushed it like a couple days, so it's not the same day on as Miss Marvel. So what's gonna happen? I think is that they're gonna do Obi-Wan on a Friday. The first two episodes gonna drop. So then there's gonna be 4 weeks of Obi-Wan on Wednesdays, in June, and then it seems as though if you're saying that it's June 8th for Miss Marvel, let me just check calendar here.
Yeah, that's what I was. That's what I was bringing. I was bringing up a calendar to see what day of the week those are. That is.
June 8th is a Wednesday, so yeah, they're probably gonna. I'm not really quite.
I feel like they're gonna move one. They're not gonna move Miss Marvel because they already moved. They already moved Obi-Wan. I think they're gonna move Obi-Wan to Fridays. It makes more sense. They also said they're gonna release 2 hours on Friday on the 27th. So
yeah, they are.
It makes sense for them to just do it the next Friday on the 3rd.
Right.
Well, I guess they could do it on Wednesday the 1st, but like moving it back and forth probably makes no sense. If they're going to release it on Friday, they can release it on the 3rd and then the 10th, and then Miss Marvel will release on the 8th. But I don't know. I don't think we've gotten anything definitive from Marvel Studios on the release schedule.
Right.
Except for the first episode. We know when the first episodes are going to drop.
Right. Yeah. So we'll see. I mean, they're trying to keep it close to the vest. I don't know whether or not it's a good strategy or not.
I think they're trying to also
they're just hedging their bets a little bit.
I think they're also trying to like play it by ear as well to give themselves some flexibility, see what happens, see who tunes in, things like that. I guess we'll see. Anyway, any final thoughts about I guess Moon Knight or the episode or the episode?
I think, like I said, I think in general, I think pretty solid for Marvel series. I think that there's definitely a lot of people that might have been turned off by it because of the weirdness and the wackiness and the supernatural effects. I think those people that really enjoy WandaVision and Loki probably will enjoy Moon Knight. For me, it's kind of like there were definitely some episodes in the middle where I was a little bit turned off by it. It's not, maybe part of it was just my Marvel, I wouldn't want to say Marvel fatigue, but also at the same time it's probably some other things that are distracting me as well, or maybe just the story itself is not as compelling to me in terms of storytelling and things like that. But that's just that. But I still overall enjoyed the whole season itself, and look forward to what's going to happen this summer and the rest of this year for Marvel. So the train just keeps moving. The train just keeps moving, and we'll see what happens with Doctor Strange and going from there.
Yeah, so we will probably be doing a review of Doctor Strange on Sunday. Since Miss Marvel is coming up next month, we'll of course do reviews of Miss Marvel next month as well. And then as I said, what we'll probably do, since it's going to be a bit of a gap, is after that do like a ranking video of like Marvel shows so far, and then we can actually have some time to actually think about and actually digest these shows and see and have a longer conversation about what's working so far on with the new Marvel television shows and what's not working, because some of them have a lot of the same structure, with the penultimate episodes being like one of the best episodes, and then things like falling off a little bit. But I need to think about this and actually rewatch some of these episodes again before we have that conversation. But we'll probably have that conversation sometime in July about that.
And also you don't forget is that because Wanda's going to be in Doctor Strange, that might blur some of the things. It might have some different reactions because of what's happened. So you never know what's going to happen with that.
Yeah.
So.
All right. Well, if there's nothing else, if you don't have anything else, we are interested to hear what you guys think. So please comment down below to join the conversation. Like and subscribe to get more conversations like this. And we will see you next time. All right, guys. Thanks. Bye.